Hello friends, in this tutorial we are going to learn about how you can navigate from one screen to another in React Native. We are working with React Native 0.62, so in this we have to include couple of more frameworks for performing this navigation. So I have created a very basic project using React Native in it. So before starting navigation code, I am just going to do a small level of cleanup. I have created two files as you can see here, one forgot password and login page. These two files are the dummy files that I have added to show how you can navigate from one screen to another. So just to do a little bit of cleanup, I'm going to remove all this stuff. I'm going to import the login page. So I have added this page on my as a main screen and I'm going to return that page. For the time being, I am removing my styles as well. Okay. So as you can see, when I run my login page is visible to me. If I click on the forgot password button, I am not able to navigate to the next screen, that is the forgot password. So the idea of this tutorial is how we can perform this operation. So for this, we require a couple of frameworks to be added to our package.json. So I have already copied those frameworks, so I am adding those frameworks over here. You can take a note of all these frameworks. So whenever you want to add React Native navigation to your project, you have to add all these frameworks. So first one is React Navigation. Second is React Navigation Stack if you want to perform or if you want to add a stack navigator to your application. To perform all the navigation operations, you need to add gesture handler, safe area context, React navigative screens, and mask view. So please make sure that whenever you want to add React navigation for React Native 0.62, you add all these frameworks. So I have quickly added all these frameworks. So all you need to do is you need to run yarn install in your project directory so that all the copied framework gets installed in your project. So once these frameworks get installed, I am going to run my pod install as well because I am running this application for iOS. For Android, you need to follow the guidelines for Android. For iOS, it's simple. Just go to the iOS folder and run pod install so that all these frameworks get installed to your app. Sorry, I think I have written wrong. So for iOS, you just have to call pod install so that all these dependencies that we have added for React navigation gets installed for your native framework as well. So as you can see, we are successful in installing all the required frameworks. So once this is quickly finished, I will show you what all things you need to add for doing the navigation. Now we will go to our app.js. I have already written a boilerplate code and this is my code. So what I have done is I have created a React navigation and I'm calling a create app navigator. So the function of this app navigator container is going to provide us with a starting point for our application. That this is the point from where our application will start and this will be the starting point from which the navigation will work. After that, if we have to navigate from one screen to another, generally this navigation takes place in the form of a stack. So you are going to add multiple views in the stack, and as you come back from the second view back to the first view, automatically a back button gets added. So this is a notion of a stack. So for that we require a stack navigator, which we added from our React navigation stack. I have already added the login page. Now I am adding one more page, that is the forgot password page. This page is required here because we have to create a stack navigator and we have to inform to our stack navigator that which all views or which all components belongs to this stack navigator. In our case, we just have two components, so we have just defined those two components based on the login page, based on the key value pair. So this is the key for my login page, and this is the actual page that I have imported it from here, that is the login page. Similarly, I have done for the forgot password page. After that, there are a couple of options which are optional. If you want, you can add it. If you don't want, you can just skip it out. The first is the header mode. In case if you don't want to have the navigation header at the top, then you can just remove it by passing none to it. The second is the initial root component. So this property or this parameter is used in case if you don't want that your stack navigator use the first key as your initial root. So whenever we are creating a stack and if we have a requirement in which we don't want to start with the first page as our initial page or initial root, then in that scenario we can specify our initial root name. In this case, even if I remove this line of code, it will work in the very similar way. There will be no change. The change will only occur if I change from login to forgot password. So second thing, once you create the stack, you have to add this stack to your container. As I mentioned above, that we are creating a container which will be the initial or the starting point for our application. So I have created a create app container and I have passed my authentication stack to it. Once I pass it, I have created an object which is going to store my initial point, and now instead of login page, I will be adding this container as the initial point, which will point to the stack navigator and which in turn will point to my login page. So in a way, I have done the similar thing that I was doing earlier also, but at this point, I have added a navigation wrapper on the top of my login page so that my login page can move from one screen to another. And the second screen will be my forgot password. Now, if you want to add more screens, like if you want to, after login, you want to go to a dashboard screen, or if you want to write a remember password, or there can be another screen like a sign up screen. So all those screens can be added over here depending upon your requirement. So this is how we have added it. So now if you rerun your application, you're not going to see much change. Still the forgot password is not working because we haven't specified that on the click of forgot password which screen we have to navigate to. So we will quickly go to our login page where I have written the button on press. I have already added a console here which is getting pressed. Now on the press of this button, what I want is I want to navigate to another screen, and that screen comes from my navigation stack which is added in app.js. So now you have to add a line of code which will tell your application that you have to navigate from the login page to the forward page. And this we can do by adding our navigation, the navigate method, and passing on the name of the screen to which you want to navigate to. Make sure the name of the screen is the value that you have specified as the key in your stack navigator. If here you are going to specify it as forgot p instead of forgot password, then here also you need to define it as forgot p. So whenever you want to navigate from one screen to another, you need to specify the key that is being given in your stack navigator. So here we go. Now once you have done this, just this line of code is required to navigate from your login screen to your forgot password screen. If you rerun your application and click on forgot password, here you go. You can move to the forgot password screen. So hope you liked the video and you understood how you can add navigation in React Native 0.62. If you like our video, please subscribe to our channel and press the bell button.